This pudding is a ritual for many families that signals the start of Christmas, and it's a lovely tradition that we should revive. Think how much more the children will enjoy the pudding if they've had a hand in making it. This recipe is from my Auntie Maureen, who's a retired home economics teacher from Ballymahon. Very easy to make. You've got to make it well ahead if you can to let it mature. The longer you make it, the better flavour. Really, it's all about the quality of the fruit here, but first of all, we're going to start making the base. We're going to use some flour. So we're going to sieve in some flour. Spices, really important. We have some mixed spice and some ground cloves. So a little bit of that, and then we have our ground cloves. Love the smell of them. Sieve this in first of all. Grate in some fresh nutmeg. Wonderful with Brussels sprouts. Cook them in boiling water. Stir fry them. Put a little bit of red onion, garlic, and a little bit of nutmeg. They're delicious, so they are. So a little bit of nutmeg goes in there. Some raisins, sultanas, and then we have some currants. Some brown sugar, mixed peel, finely chop it. Breadcrumbs. And you can make this with gluten-free breadcrumbs. These are almonds which are blanched, the skin is removed, and just roughly chop them. Grate the zest of some lemon. Then we're going to put the juice of half the lemon into this. Squeeze that all out, the juice. And then we're going to grate in some carrot. Roughly about a quarter of a carrot is enough in this. Grate it, you know, as if you're grating cheese. Hard to beat your own homemade pudding. And there are hundreds of recipes. Going to grate the apple. Don't even worry about peeling it. Just using half the apple here. With the carrot and the apple, it gives lovely moisture to the pudding. Put in 1 egg, which is just lightly beaten. And then some melted butter. And then some stout. Put in about half the bottle and we'll see how we get on. Sure, we could drink this afterwards. Using a spatula or a spoon, mix everything together. After 24 hours, the fruit will have plumped up and it looks like this. Put the mixture into a buttered pudding basin, cover it with parchment paper, and then put some tin foil over the top. Tie tightly with string. This will take about 6 hours to steam, but if you prefer, you can cook it in a bain-marie in the oven. Once your pudding is cooked, it will keep for months and months. Once it's stored correctly, it will actually improve with flavour. Now, you can serve it with a little bit of brandy butter, whipped cream if you want to, but I'm going to show you a delicious boozy custard, which is fantastic. It's infused with ground almonds, a little bit of amaretto. We splash a brandy and some rum. It's gorgeous. First thing we need to do is we need to infuse the milk and the cream. Warm this up. It's what we call scalding. So you put in your cream there and your milk. Get some ground almonds. You're infusing the milk and cream with the ground almonds, and it actually gives a lovely texture to it. Whisk this in here. Bring that to the boil. So, meanwhile, I've eggs separated. 5 eggs. Put in some vanilla and scrape out all the seeds. Drop them in. With the skin, we're going to infuse the actual milk and cream with that. Just give that a little whisk, because there is still some seeds in there. For our custard, some sugar, a little bit of caster sugar, and then some corn flour. Now this is important because it kind of protects the custard. So you're really just whisking this for a minute or two. Dissolving the sugar, and you're dispersing the vanilla seeds. And then I'm going to put in my alcohol in here. So I'm going to use amaretto first of all, a little splash, a little bit of rum, and brandy. So the brandy next. You can make this perfectly fine just with the ground almonds, but trust me, with all these lovely, especially with the rum too, it's gorgeous. They add so much flavour and richness to the custard. Whisk this all together. It smells good. So when the milk and cream has come to the boil, just pour it into the egg yolks. Whisk this together. This needs to cook out because we have corn flour in it. Put this back on the heat. Cook this just until it coats the back of the ladle here. So that's it ready. I'm going to pass it through the sieve. So there's going to be a little bit of texture, and that's from the ground almonds. Using just your spatula, you can use a ladle if you want to gently push that through. And that's it ready. Taste it. Just to make sure you have enough alcohol in it. Delicious. The almond taste is really good. For the pudding, when you have it cooked, let it sit in the little pudding bowl, let it cool down, and then you wrap it in parchment paper and tin foil. The quickest way to heat it, I get the pudding, half it, and I cut it into little wedges. And then what I do is just simply pop it into the microwave for about a minute, no longer. Cover it in cling film so it keeps the steam in there. That's really important. And there you have it. Look how moist that is. You can serve it as it is. But let me show you what we do. Get a little pudding basin. So we're going to make a presentation of a small little pudding. You push this down with the back of the spoon. The plum pudding feels nice and warm. You just simply shake it. Look at how easy that is. Now there's no need to butter this because there's enough moisture in the pudding, it'll just pop out. Make sure it's nice and hot, that's the secret. For your custard, you can pour it over, but I like to show off the pudding, pour it around. It's probably easier if you do it from the jug. I think the plum pudding with the custard is delicious, but I'm going to put a little bit of fresh cream with a little bit of vanilla pod, and it's called a creme chantilly. Just get a dessert spoon, dip it into a little bit of warm water, and then we just do a little quenelle. Put that on the side. We're going to flambe a little bit of brandy. Using a soup ladle and some brandy, and this just takes a minute or two. You need to be careful doing this. So I've got to warm this up, and then it'll just catch. So that's how you do a little flambe. That's it caught, and be really careful doing this. The secret is to have the pudding nice and hot. Pour this gently over.